Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan again from CryptoCamacho.com, and I'm just sitting here, guys, with my Yeti. I got a new Yeti, I got a new mic, I got a new computer. I'm super stoked. My gear is tip-top shape. It's high quality, and I'm excited about it because I've been making a ton of videos now up to date that have been just terrible quality. Someday I will let you know why, and I'll let you know the story of why it's taken me so long to get new equipment. Okay, today, guys, I've just been sitting here and I have been thinking about something very, very exciting. Don't know if you guys know this yet, but I am interested in pensions. Pensions, you're asking me, why am I interested in pensions? Do I work for the government? Do I work for the state? Do I work for a fire department? Am I a police officer? Nope, none of the above at all, guys. I'm talking about pensions because pensions are the greatest threat to the U.S. economy to date that we see. Probably one of the greatest threats that we see to the U.S. economy today. It's obviously a very unsustainable, unscalable solution that the U.S. has employed. And I want to talk about pensions and how they relate to cryptocurrency and what actually is going on in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space to actually overhaul the pension program, not only in the U.S., but worldwide, guys. And so I want to talk about this with you. And first, let's dig in. I'm going to put my Yeti down here. First, let me just stick this over here. First, guys, I want to dig in really quickly into U.S. pensions and liabilities. If you just do a quick search on Google for U.S. pensions, you're going to see, things come up like this. U.S. pension policy is so bad that Congress is planning for its failure. U.S. state pension funding gap rises to $1.4 trillion in 2016. Collapse of public pension funds is no longer a distant prospect. What makes the U.S. retirement system a bad example? And it goes on and on and on about pension programs and how pension programs are terrible. Right now, they're set up so poorly in the U.S. that they are bound to collapse at some point in time. All right, if you go to Google and you type in U.S. pension liabilities, it looks even worse. Your pension is a lie. There's $210 trillion of liabilities. How big is our state's share of a $6 trillion in unfunded pensions? U.S. state pension liabilities hit $1.3 trillion. It goes on and on and on, guys. And if there's one thing that's going to take down the dollar, or could potentially take down the dollar, it's going to be pensions. And it's going to be, the effect that the inability to pay pensions out to recipients is going to have on the US dollar and on the economy itself. So how does this relate to crypto? I mean, do I just stay up all night and think about pensions while I am twiddling my thumbs? I mean, I do that sometimes on Fridays and Saturday nights, but any other time, I'm talking about cryptocurrency. But today, I don't want to do that. I actually want to talk about how pensions and cryptocurrency mix. So today, I want to talk about an ICO. It's a new ICO. Actually, isn't even an ICO yet. They're doing a pre-sale, and it's a company called Acropolis. And what Acropolis is trying to do is they're trying to transform and really overhaul the entire pensions infrastructure from the inside out using blockchain technology. Obviously, I'm super stoked about this. Obviously, I'm very, very excited about that. The world's pensions are in turmoil. The societies in the world today are getting older. The system that we have set up today for pension programs is really set up for a lower, smaller population. And our baby boomer population is growing so rapidly that we can't keep up with the actual demand of these pensions and the actual money that's required to pay out these pension funds to recipients, right? So needless to say, the pension programs are in disarray, and Acropolis is looking really to restructure, to overhaul, and to ultimately rebuild a pension program and pension architecture built on blockchain and cryptocurrency. So I think this is very, very exciting. I think that there's a huge opportunity here because I think we're going to see companies like Acropolis go from, centralized pension models based on governments and how the government set them up to models that are more distributed, more decentralized, and really built on the power of the people, really giving the power back to the people and structuring these pension programs how the people would like them structured. So let's take a quick look at Acropolis and see how they're actually doing this. So Acropolis, I'll just read a little bit. If we were to spend your time and resources on the most time-sensitive problem that has the largest negative impact on the greatest number of people, regardless of age, race, gender, or location, what would it be? It would be the pension program, right? The pension program, not only in the U.S., but in the world overall. So here it just talks a little bit about some of the things that I've already touched on in terms of the pension crisis we see today. And it's worldwide. It's not just in the U.S., but here's the chief economist of the Bank of England, Anthony Haldane, saying, "I don't understand pensions. Experts have no clue either." That's pretty scary coming from the chief economist of the Bank of England. Next, according to the World Economic Forum, 48% of retirement-aged population do not receive a pension, and the retirement savings gap globally will grow from $70 trillion in 2015 to $400 trillion by 2050. So needless to say, this is a massive industry that is in dire need of an overhaul. And what better time, what better place to make this overhaul than with what's going on in cryptocurrency with blockchain? I think, the technology is there. The technology is ripe to definitely overhaul a system like this to make it much, much more efficient, much more scalable, and ultimately much more sustainable, right? Because right now it's not sustainable whatsoever. And it's actually, there's a lot of pressure on companies, on insurance companies, on government programs to actually decrease the size of pension programs because it's just ultimately not sustainable. I mean, I have buddies that are firemen. I have, other people that I know who are in government jobs. And if you go into a government job now or into, becoming a fireman, a police officer, something like that, your pension program is already lower than it was in the past, right? So Acropolis is trying to fix this flawed system that we see. They write, "No solution exists within this fundamentally flawed system, and Acropolis is helping to rid the world of flaws in the pension funds with a new, immutable, and transparent smart contract-based pension fund infrastructure that will dramatically change the way humanity thinks about saving and investing." The Acropolis Project aims to be the largest alternative pensions infrastructure in the world. "We are creating a decentralized pensions on the blockchain and a safer financial future for humanity, built by and for the people." So very, very exciting what they're doing. This just kind of digs in a little bit deeper to what I have been saying. But ultimately, they're going to put a pension program on the blockchain to make it more transparent, to make it more economically efficient, to make it more sustainable, ultimately, in the long run. And I think a company like this, like Acropolis, can do that. If Acropolis can't do it, another company will come along and do this. And I want to note something to you guys. If, I talk a lot about how third-party kind of agencies, third-party oversight companies are ultimately going to vanish. They're going to go away. This is another example of how government entities, government agencies, and government regulatory kind of services in regulatory industries related to government services like insurance, like real estate, like notary, like anything where there's a third party that has to come in and manage and validate or oversee a process that has to track for money, for titles, for ownership, anything like that, you're going to see large disruption from the cryptocurrency community. You're going to see large disruption because of blockchain in all of those sectors. This is just one of many, and this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. But I want to show you this example because it's a really good example of a massive, massive industry that traditionally has had a lot of centralization, built on government regulation. This is all changing, and it's all changing very quickly before our eyes. And you can see Acropolis is a very, very good example of that. This is talking about the token sale. The actual ICO is not live yet, but if you do want to join the ICO, just go and join the waitlist up at the top of the page here on acropolis.io. They're going to have a total supply of 900 million tokens with a hard cap of $25 million they're trying to raise. The token price at the initial launch will be almost 7 cents. It's 6 cents, 6.9 cents. So that's actually pretty cheap. Although the token supply is pretty high, I think that price is actually fairly low or reasonable, and think can go up significantly based on those just two simple kind of economic factors right there. Here's how the allocation will work. You guys can look that through in your own time. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I do want to show you this diagram. Let me make it a little bit small. Let me make it a little bit smaller here. So if you look at this diagram around token utility, again, I'm not going to spend my entire time, going through this, but I do want to at least show you the ecosystem kind of at large, right? So you have fund managers or operators, you have individual users, you have a developer community, and you have institutional users, all revolving around the Acropolis ecosystem to make this new pension architecture work, right? So of course you're going to have the traditional institutional users and fund managers that work with large scale big companies, right? Big business, enterprise, B2B, they need an engine, kind of a separate engine for themselves to manage their pension programs. It's very cool, I think, that Acropolis is building out a developer community and is going to offer rewards as incentives for the developer community to actually build out functionalities and new features for this ecosystem. I think that's what Bitcoin Cash is also doing in a very, very smart way to enable the growth of an ecosystem is to fund it, by its own workforce, if you will, right? By its own user base, if you will. So I think that's very, very cool. What else we got? The team, very, very good team, very strong team with a lot of experience in pensions, financial management, private equity, things like that. Lehman Brothers, just look at their resumes, right? Lehman Brothers, private equity firms all over the board right here. Principal Vanguard Asset Management. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We do have a pretty big team. We have quite a few advisors as well on the team, which you can check out here. Go check out their LinkedIn profiles. Highly recommend it. Let's see, what else? Their roadmap. So their ICO is not out yet. Their white paper isn't even published yet. So if you click on this technical white paper up here, you're going to see that it's just a placeholder. But good news is that they're looking to publish their white paper any day now. It's supposed to be published very, very soon. So I'm very curious to see what that will look like, because before I invest, I always definitely want to look at a white paper and make sure that I understand really the details of the deal, right? Because I don't want anybody to get caught up in the deal. Nonetheless, I am bullish on Acropolis. I think if Acropolis doesn't accomplish this feat, which I'm thinking they will, just based on what I'm seeing, right? This is a massive project, a massive overhaul. It will take a very strong team. I think they're in a very good position to do so, and I'm bullish on them. I'm not a financial advisor. Now, I am not your mother, and I am not giving you investment advice, but I am telling you that I think that Acropolis and other companies like Acropolis that are here to disrupt sectors and industries like pension programs are going to be good investments for cryptocurrency enthusiasts and investors, because these industries are ripe for disruption. I mean, they've literally probably had the same structure for the last 30, 40 years, right? The last 3-4 decades, pension programs haven't really been overhauled. And this is going to happen whether or not people like it. This is going to happen. And Acropolis is leading the way, right? Okay, so I first heard about the pension time bomb in 1996 when my professor, Jim Ball, closed the semester with a warning that nobody was doing anything about it. Now, more than 20 years later, still nobody is doing anything about it. And we know that regardless of pension contributions made, youth, they are never going to get a pension. This Acropolis is the first time I've heard anyone come up with a positive, thought-out approach to the pension time bomb. I'm in. Ian Grigg. So that is very, very exciting. That's cool, I think, to hear. It's so true. I mean, how long has this pension program been on fire and really been kind of in a destructible state? A very long time, and we haven't had a solution until now, so I'm very excited about this. Check it out. Their FAQs. I think it'll be interesting for you to get a better sense of what they're actually doing. But I do want to read this. What is Acropolis, right? Acropolis is a technology platform designed to address deep-seated structural issues of the global pensions sector. It is designed to be a multi-jurisdictional platform for the delivery of pensions, social welfare, and future benefits in a portable manner that over time brings together individual end users and large institutional players in a new system of incentives. So they're building this system of economic incentives to drive individual end users and large institutional players to really create this new pension funding model and distribution model for the world, right? One interesting thing I saw in here as well is that they're going to be designing a multi-jurisdictional platform for the delivery of not only pensions, but social welfare and future benefits, right? So it looks like they're going to be expanding beyond pensions and actually will get into or dip into social welfare programs, which is very, very cool. It's going to be very interesting, right? Because no country ever has enough on social welfare programs. We just don't have enough money, right? And so it'll be really interesting how blockchain can solve this problem and make it more efficient to where we can use the money that we actually have to fund social welfare programs for good causes, right? There's always been this big debate between conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats, whether or not we should fund social welfare programs. And the argument always goes, we should definitely fund social welfare programs for the good of the people, for the good of mankind, for the good of humanity. Let's be altruistic. And the other side of the argument goes, well, yes, that's great. We do want to be altruistic and we do want to help mankind and humanity, but who is going to pay for it? There is no free lunch, so how do we do it? So hopefully Acropolis is going to solve that big conundrum, that big pickle that we're in, right? We're in a pension pickle, and I think Acropolis is going to solve it. So that's the new word of the day, pension pickle. If anybody buys that domain name, pensionpickle.com, I'm interested to buy it. Just kidding, but I do think Pension Pickle is a good name for Acropolis. I'm Dan, guys, from CryptoCamacho.com, and the last thing I want to show you before I'm asking you to subscribe to my YouTube channel is let's see how many people they have on their Twitter account and on their Telegram account. Let's check this out, guys. That's a good indication of how well they're going to do. Wow, 14,000 members in their Telegram channel. Very, very cool. And in their Twitter, 1,500. Not as many yet, but not a big deal. Anyways, this is Acropolis. I hope you guys take note of this. I think it's going to be big. I think that Acropolis, if not Acropolis, another company is going to come by and really shake up the pensions program. And I'm very excited to see who it is and how it actually works out. I'm Dan from CryptoCamacho.com, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do by clicking on that little red button down below. And from here on out, you're going to see high-quality videos, high-quality audios, and I am super stoked, super excited to keep making these videos. And thank you for everybody who's watching and listening. And thanks so much for everybody who has participated in the survey I recently put out. It's given me a lot of good feedback, gave me a lot of ideas of how I can actually help you guys make more money in this crazy cryptocurrency revolution. I'm Dan, Crypto Camacho, and I'm out. Remember, Pension Pickle. Remember that.